So arguably the freshest fragrance from the house of Parfums de Marly. Today we're going to be taking an in-depth look at Parfums de Marly Sedley. So stay tuned. So before we jump into the presentation, I just want to take a moment to thank Ocyanas.com for sending this out to me for full review. Even though it was sent to me for review, of course my opinions will be my own with this fragrance. And if you haven't heard of Ocyanas.com, I will have them linked below. They are a very large online retailer for niche and designer fragrances with a lot to choose from. Like I said before, I'll have them linked down below if you want to check them out. So first and foremost, let's take a look at the box. So standard Parfums de Marly type of stuff. Size, name of the fragrance, the house with their iconic horses and shield logo, 1743. Same emblem that's on the top of the cap. Batch code information, as you can see, it is the NOIR macerated batch. Fragrance information, some information about the company on the back. Now in regards to this bottle, standard Parfums de Marly bottle, only this is their translucent bottles, similar to fragrances like Greenleaf, for example. This is transparent blue, which this is a very blue fragrance, so it's very fitting. Name of the company, their logo, and like I said, same thing as on the top of the box with their cap. Batch code information, there's the batch code again, and then does click into place and does hold very steady. As with all the Parfums de Marly caps, they are almost solid metal with a little bit of plastic filling. These are very, very heavy. And then atomizer does work very, very well. Now let's get into this scent. So when Sedley opens up, what I get off of my skin is I do get a good dose of the mint. It's not overly toothpastey, bubblegum, spearminty mint. It's a very natural, kind of subdued, not really a sharp mint. And as far as the citrus is concerned, I get a lot of lemon up top. That really stands in the forefront off of my skin to my nose is the lemon. And then once the opening calms down after a few seconds, because it's pretty out there upon the first spray, because it's a very, very fresh fragrance. I do get ambroxan throughout, but it starts to come out more and more and more over the life of the fragrance. And then in the transition, I start to get some of that rosemary start to come out. It gets a little bit more herbaceous and fresh spicy. Never being overly spicy or coming off as just a spicy fragrance. It just adds that little herbaceous quality that's not really completely in the background, but not completely in the forefront. It's in a supportive role, but more of a strong supportive role is how I would describe the rosemary. And then a big creaminess kind of comes in. I'm going to attribute that to some sandalwood mixing with that lavender, because the lavender doesn't come off soapy to me. It comes off a bit more creamy. So I'm going to think that's a combination of things with the lavender making the creamy smell that I get from this. And like I said, that ambroxan, just once it gets into the heart, I really start to get a lot more ambroxan. It's not a sharp, overly Dior Sauvage, Prada Luna Rosa Carbon type of sharp metallicness of the ambroxan, but it's definitely there. Parfums de Marly has been using more aroma chemicals lately, and the ambroxan is definitely very present in this one. If you're not a fan of ambroxan, you're not going to be a fan of this fragrance. But if you like blue fragrances, it's a niche blue fragrance is how you can look at it. And then once you get into that dry down, like I said, it's all about woods and ambroxan at that point, at least on my skin. It's not overly complex. It's not heavily nuanced where it steadily changes. It does slightly change over its lifespan. The citruses tend to burn off. The woods and ambroxan tends to come out more. It is a very pleasant scent if you don't mind ambroxan, which I love ambroxan. So naturally, I do love the way this thing smells. And for that, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 in the scent category. Now, as far as longevity, it's typical fresh fragrance type of stuff. So when it originally launched in 2019, it actually had a complaint from everybody for, maybe 3 hours, 4 hours at best in longevity. Now, I did not try the launch batch. Now, this batch, they remacerated the oils, and it was supposed to give better longevity. And I can say it definitely has decent longevity. If 3 to 4 hours is what everybody was getting before, I'm getting 6 hours out of this, which for a fresh fragrance, that's standard fare. Now, for what you're going to pay for this fragrance, that's probably still going to anger some, but the scent is beautiful. My wife loves the way this thing smells on me. She really, really enjoys it. This is an extremely underrated compliment getter, in my opinion. This is one that you absolutely need to decant first and try for yourself and make sure it's going to be worth it for you, because if you're looking for some beast mode performer, this is not going to be the fragrance for you. But if you're looking for a very fresh niche level fragrance that's going to be pleasant and enjoyable, then this might be for you. The longevity for giving me 6 hours is going to be a 7 out of 10. Now, projection, this is another one where it's kind of in that average range. It's kind of arm's length for about an hour and a half. Then it starts to sit pretty close to the skin, mildly wafting here and there. It's not something that's going to really radiate off of your skin. At least on my skin, it doesn't radiate. It's not a real heavy projector. It's definitely in the mild territory after that first hour and a half. This is more of a professional scent. I think this would be fantastic for work. Whereas most Ambroxan scents are very loud and out there, where this is a bit more subdued, and this is more well-rounded and smoothed off. It doesn't have the sharpness and the loud obnoxiousness that comes with most Ambroxan-based fragrances. So for that, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 in longevity. Overall, Parfums de Marly Sedley, in my opinion, definitely a 7 out of 10 fragrance. I think this stuff's great. I really do. This is one that I strongly urge you to sample first. Is the scent safe for a blind buy? Sure. But for what you're going to pay, because it's a Parfums de Marly fragrance, even gray market, you're going to spend mid 100s on up, you know, actually above that, like 160 on up range for a 125 milliliter bottle. I would say you need to get a decant or get a carded sample and make sure you're okay with its longevity. Because, like I said, 6 hours, there's nothing wrong with 6 hours. That's totally fine for a fresh fragrance. But for what you're going to pay, for some, it's not enough. For me, I like it. I'd have been pissed with the original batch only getting 3 to 4 hours for sure. I think this is a great fragrance. Now, on to this giveaway. So I did have a 15 ml decant. So it was down to about 8 mLs. I topped it off to make it about 10 ml. So there's roughly 10 milliliters in here, maybe even a smidge more. 10 ml decant. So I'm going to give this away. So what we're going to do is, of course, you always have to like, comment, subscribe. So like this video, make sure you subscribe to TLTG Reviews. But this is going to be a little bit different from the usual giveaways. I actually, in my link tree down below, actually I'll just link it in the description so it's easier for you guys, is my Instagram page. I'd like to grow my Instagram page a little bit more, get a few more followers. So here's what I'd like you to do. If you want to be entered in the giveaway, subscribe to the channel, head over to Instagram, follow TLTG Reviews. And once you're done on both, in this video, put TLTG done. That's it. We're not doing the usual TLTG I'm in. We're going to do TLTG done. And then I'll let this run for about 4 days. And on the 4th day, I'll announce the winner in a community post on the community page of my channel page. And then I'll just verify your Instagram handle and make sure you did everything for whoever ends up being the winner. And somebody's going to get a 10 ml decant of Parfums de Marly Sedley, compliments of me. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on Sedley, give it a spray now. Pretty confident that you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.